biggest prize money in the history of pool. And now, please welcome IPT Assistant Tournament Director Charlie Ursetti with the rules of this championship match.
Go over the rules one more time. The game is 8-ball. The match is a race to 8 wins. We're playing all ball fouls resulting in cue ball in hand anywhere on the table. If the ball is not obvious, you must call the ball in pocket, and you must always call the 8-ball. An 8 on the break is a win, and any time you scratch on the 8, it is loss of game. Are there any questions? Shake hand, gentlemen, and leg for break.
Close or what?
The players are ready. It's the biggest night in pool history for the richest prize money ever.
And while you have to say that EFREN Reyes, who just about won the lag, must be regarded as the favourite, Rodney Morris also has quite a pedigree.
Absolutely. Good evening. What a final we've got in prospect tonight. I'm expecting, like the lag, I'm hoping it's going to be a close match. It's only first to 8, as it has been throughout the tournament. But this time, no groups.
Oh, get away. Get away, guys. Come on, Rock. Let's go, baby.
And not the best of starts EFREN would have been hoping for.
Rodney Morris says that EFREN Reyes is his favourite pool player. He has great respect for the Filipino, but he's not intimidated by him. And it was almost a decade ago to the week when Morris beat Reyes to win the 1996 US Open in Virginia.
Well, yeah.
I got that out of my system.
He's happy about that. He's up and running.
Got that ball out of my system. Thank you.
He's certainly not lacking in confidence.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Four on the side.
Likes to chat to himself, likes to G himself up. Things aren't going his way, he'll try and turn that around with a bit of banter.
Yes, a very expressive, outgoing individual.
EFREN Reyes had to wait a bit longer. Only winning 3 out of 5 and going through on percentage of racks won and lost.
Yes, it was a close squeeze in the end. It really was.
No, I get there. Too much. Ah, oh no.
There is chatting to himself again. He knows he's finished a bit straighter than he would have wanted.
Half an inch. Again.
Half an inch maybe. That's certainly a little bit straight for him. He's got the orange 5 into the top right.
Ooh, come on, baby.
Good shot though. Use the width of the pocket.
6 in the corner. 6 ball.
Yes, that's one of the misconceptions about pool in comparison with snooker. People say the pockets are quite generous. Obviously, that is the case. But the key to pool is using all of the pocket for position. And that's what the top players do.
2 on the side. I mean, corner. Corner.
Yes, it really was a much better shot than probably it looked. Using all the width of the pocket. And now a simple finish for him in the first rack.
8 ball, side pocket.
Early days, though.
I wonder if he'll get that presented in a briefcase as well, Phil. We saw Torsten Homer win the first event, the North American 8-Ball Open Championship. And Kevin Trudeau, the founder, walked out with a briefcase, and to everyone's surprise, full of cash.
And if these guys weren't under enough pressure already, I've noticed some luminaries of the pool world in the audience, watching their every move, critiquing them. The likes of Mika Immonen, Charlie Williams, Nick Varner's there. and Britain's Raj Hundal.
1 ball, corner.
Incidentally, Robert McKenna, also from the UK, played in that group and also went out at that stage, finishing 5th.
Five.
5 ball, corner.
Steve Davis is considered something of a wonder by playing top-level snooker still at the age of 49. Reyes, 52, and still as good as ever. International tour this. He's won in Asia already this year. He came here direct from winning the World Cup of Pool. Playing alongside Francisco Bustamante, he gave the Philippines the trophy. That event was in Newport in Wales. And who should they beat in the final? America. 13-5. The Americans represented by Earl Strickland and Reyes' opponent here today, Rodney Morris.
Yeah, tricky little shot. Reyes made it look fairly straightforward. Just punching the cue ball out to leave himself the 3 down the rail. That looks about perfect. Just a nice little angle, just a bit of topspin on the cue ball. That's all he needs to leave himself what should be a straight 8 ball. Just making sure that stripe, brown stripe, won't get in his way. If he thinks it will, he might play a gentle stun shot, but looks pretty straightforward from here. Taking his time though. Wants to make sure he clears from here and gets back on level terms with the break, of course.
The collision with the stripe was intentional. A sign of things to come, maybe. A very high standard from both players. Morris out of the gate quickest. Reyes responds. 1 rack each. Remember, first to 8 for $500,000. Dan Sierra Resort here in Reno, Nevada. It's the final of the International Pool Tour's World 8-Ball Open Championship. And 2 of the finest wielders of a pool stick in the game. Rodney Morris, fast-flowing left-hander, up against EFREN Reyes. Recognised, I think, almost universally now as the man to beat. Not just in 8-ball, but also in the 9-ball discipline as well.
You can hit it same speed, but it takes off a little speed, so you're actually getting it softer. What's at 15 and at 3 ball? What's at 15 and at 3? What at 11?
Oh, told you this table's so dead. This table's like dead.
Well, a pretty poor break by anybody's standards. EFREN, he just didn't get anything into it. Didn't get his body movement going. Didn't control the cue ball very well.
I wonder if this is a pattern, you know, coming up dry on the break.
Yeah, certainly. Maybe you don't mind it happening in your first few matches of the tournament. When you get to the final, you want to see them going in off the break. But Reyes is, I said this earlier on in the tournament, he's not that well known for his good breaking capabilities, really, and that's the same at 9-ball. However, it didn't stop him from winning the 9-ball World Championships, and it also hasn't stopped him from getting to the final tonight. Rodney Morris, I think, has got much better break and run-out statistics throughout this event.
Took up the game seriously, did Rodney Morris, at the age of 17. Soon he left Hawaii with the aim of becoming top dog.
7 to the side.
7 inside.
Won that 96 US Open, but then took a 4-year hiatus from the game, but returned to win the Reno Open, just down the road in fact, at the Sands Regency Hotel and Casino in 2001. He's lifted that trophy twice as America prevailed.
Three in the corner.
No problems knocking the 3 into the centre pocket. Although he'll have to play a couple of good positional shots to get on the 6. And that was probably the error. He plays to get on the 1, then the 6 only goes into the bottom right-hand pocket. So it wasn't the easiest of finishes for Rodney Morris. Could have played it easily into the centre, I thought he was going to, but he used the angle to get the cue ball back to the left-hand part of the table. Still a surprising miss.
Yes, it wasn't all that complex a shot. Not for someone of his capabilities.
As you can see, the cue will finish just about perfect as well. He would have knocked the 1 down the rail and had the 6. So really, he should be breaking it 2-1 up now. But instead he's left Reyes with no problems with the stripes. Nice first shots, making sure he got the cue ball back out centrally on the table. Did a nice punch stun shot.
Going back on that theme of players in the audience, just spied some more. Sweden's Marcus Schemat, sitting over the top of where EFREN Reyes is sitting when he's not at the table. You've got Francisco Bustamante and another former world 9-ball champion, Alex Pagulayan. Expert eyes trained on this most intense of matches. Underwent eye surgery last year. That proved a roaring success. And what a record he's put together already in this IPT. Won the King of the Hill event in Orlando last December, beating Mike Sigel in the final. $200,000 the prize there. And he was 4th in the North American Open in Las Vegas in July, banking another $65,000. Sir Roxton, by my reckoning, if he can reach 8 today, that will be $765,000 in 3 events. Pretty good going.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it, to think about it? The money's just super rich now, these tournaments. Of course, there's more to come after this. Reyes has to get the bridge out for this. Shouldn't be any problems for him, just needs to draw back maybe a foot or 2. Leave himself near the 2nd diamond. And that's maybe a bit further than he wanted, but still a fairly straightforward 8 in the side.
Yes, a little betwixt and between. It should go, but it's not quite the gimme he would have anticipated. Rodney Morris won the first rack. Reyes, though, has claimed the next two. EFREN Reyes, well, it's a fairy tale story really, came from a humble background. He started working at a pool hall owned by his uncle when he was 5 years of age. Immediately fell in love with the game, he was beguiled by it, and in fact the story is that he used to sleep on pool tables in that particular property, so that when he woke up he could immediately start playing the game.
Well, I'm sure it's not too different where they are at the moment, Phil. They've been playing non-stop, at least 5 matches per day, each player. As we see another dry break. His pre-match interviews, and when Alison mentioned making a ball off the break, he laughed and said, yes, if only I could make a ball off the break. Had another laugh, so he knows
5 in the corner.
it's a slight weakness in his game, but he also knows that's it. And as I said, even with his statistics not being that great at breaking off, it still hasn't stopped him from getting to the final. And with a shout to win the biggest prize in pool or Q Sports history.
Corner pocket.
By the way, just for the record, if you're wondering which player ran the most racks from the break in the tournament, it was Oliver Ortmann, the German. He finished 4th and went back to Germany with $80,000. Overall, he ran 93 racks from the break.
6 on the side.
Only 4 more than this man. And of course, Morris has the opportunity to catch and even surpass that number.
Yes, and he's looking good here, isn't he? Just a delicate shot, trying to nudge the 8 house into a potable position. I think he's just done it.
2 in the corner.
Yes, the 8 looks like, as long as the cue ball slows down. Has it gone far enough? I think he's all right.
That was close to hooking himself, i.e. snookering himself, but Rodney Morris just about gets away with it. Well, those who predicted going down to the wire might be right. Certainly, early indications suggest neither player dominant. 2 racks each. First to 8 gets the nod.
Ball on the break. Mr. Reyes has ball in hand.
Well, we were wondering when we were going to see a ball potted off the break. We saw one there. Unfortunately, it was the cue ball.
Yeah, a poor mistake. Again, something a pool player never wants to do, even in practice, scratch in the middle pocket. That's poor control. It means you've hit the first ball, the one ball, almost half ball instead of full in the face, which is what every player is trying to do. Even in practice, I know the players are furious with themselves when they do that, so I don't know how Rodney Morris must be feeling now. And he's given the advantage straight back to Reyes, who looks to have a nice open table to have a go at. He's also got the added advantage of being able to put the cue ball where he wishes.
All kinds of choices.
Yeah, having a look at sorting out the group of balls near the 8. As you can see, there's a couple of stripes and a solid. If he were to get rid of one of those now, would open up everything else for the rest of the clearance.
Game. 10 ball, corner. $15 in the corner.
Something like a 15 or 16 hour time difference between Reno and Manila.
14, corner.
But that doesn't mean to say the pool-mad Filipinos will not be keeping tabs on this match. Keeping tabs doesn't really do it justice. They are total devotees of this game. And EFREN Reyes is one of the country's leading sporting heroes.
Lots of running side. Just about got away with not Chinesing himself. He's okay though, he can roll the 9 in. Just run down the table to where he's looking at now. All he needs to be fairly straight on the 12 ball into the centre.
9 ball, corner.
So just see him run through about a foot or so. Maybe a bit closer to the cushion than he would have wished.
12 to the side.
All he has to do is make sure the 7 doesn't get in the way of him and the 13. Again, just a gentle roll shot. Misses the 7. Goes a little bit close. However, that's pretty good. He's got a nice angle. Maybe too much angle.
In the corner.
But Roxton, that's what he's done. The only problem, he's glued the cue ball to that side cushion. This is nervy.
8 ball corner. 8 in the corner.
A shot that no cueist likes. He snatched at his upper body movement. The tension got the better of the maestro.
3 ball, corner.
Well, what a big shot to miss. And he's virtually guaranteed to have given the rack away as well. Certainly just overran it just by a few inches, and that made all the difference. He had to come across the table twice, and as Phil said, left himself tight on the rail, and nobody likes to play those.
And I suppose at 52 you're prone to raw nerve ends more than his much younger opponent. Morris, by the way, will celebrate his 36th birthday in November.
Yes, I thought for those watching yesterday, we saw Oliver Ortman take on EFREN Reyes, and I said at the time that EFREN wasn't quite playing his perfect positional play that we expect of him. And he's probably just wondering to himself, just how did that happen? How did he end up just slightly wrong on the 8 to make it missable?
6 ball, corner.
And I feel he'll just have to improve on his positional play just that little bit if he wants to walk away with that $500,000.
Corner pocket.
Because Rodney Morris is also looking very good, and he's gone about his business very quickly here.
Woo. 8 in the corner.
Wow. That one almost stayed above ground. What a rack that was. You know, you've got to think a potential turning point there.
It's a ball. Get ready.
200 players started out from all over the world. Now it's down to a battle between a flamboyant American and a vastly experienced Filipino.
10 ball. The super draw.
Eureka! Finally we see a ball made from the break, and the first to break through, Morris.
Yeah, and can you believe it's taken 6 racks to do it? Quite astonishing. Whilst Morris straight into his no messing about pool game.
4-ball, corner.
Really not taking any time at all.
Well, Roxton, he's a naturally swift player, always has been. So why compromise his natural style? I think he's doing the right thing to just treat this as a normal game. We all know it isn't. But if he knocks himself out of his own rhythm, self-defeating.
Absolutely, Phil. He's got to play his own game. That's the only way he's going to win. And really with a very good opportunity to take a 2-rack lead. No real problems. He's got the 5 and the 2 sitting over both middle pockets. He's got a nice opportunity now to take the 2 and get rid of the 7, which is his only ball that's slightly out of position. But as I say, he's got the chance now to just stun the 2 in, leave an angle on the 7, which he's done nicely. Should be straightforward from here, really. He's just got to make sure he has a shot on the 5.
Seven-ball, corner. Having a side. 5-ball, side pocket. 8-ball, side.
It's looking like a very well needed break and run for Morris.
Yes, the most rapid rack we've seen so far. Rodney Morris trailed 2-1. Now, though, he leads 4-2.
Before this final was just under 35%. So quite a difference between the two players' breaks.
Oh! I thought I had it, guys. No.
But it's not proving that way in this final. Because there's nothing worse as a player, and you can't get on a roll if you can't carry on that and get on the table and get winning off the break and get going. It's hard to get the fluency going.
And certain tables undoubtedly react differently from others. Look at the match we saw in the final group between Dennis O'Cullew and Mika Immonen. O'Cullew prevailed by 8 racks to 0, running 7 from the break. Chalk and cheese to this.
Yeah, and that also probably put pay to Immonen's chances, even though he won 3 out of his next 4 matches.
14 in the corner.
EFREN Reyes sneaked ahead on percentage of racks won and lost. Mika Immonen was just nudged out into 3rd place. Oliver Ortman came 4th. Dennis O'Cullew, just mentioned, he came 5th. And Corey Jewell came 6th out of the 6-man group yesterday.
10-ball.
Yes, and just to dot the I's and cross the T's, I can tell you the best British place finisher was Carl Boyes from Yorkshire.
Corner.
Short of pace, annoyed. The 9-ball will cut up to the bottom right-hand pocket.
Yeah, certainly not as easy as he would have wanted it. Just the 9 left, as you can see on the graphic. He didn't have the angle to hold it, so he went across the table. And that's a pretty good shot, leaving himself virtually straight on the 8.
8 in the side.
Reyes back in the reckoning. Morris didn't make a ball off the break. It's now 4-3. Rodney Morris, the underdog going into the match, currently leads by 4 racks to 3, and that means he's halfway towards pocketing the $500,000 first prize. Flashing lights, all kinds of gizmos, full house, big arena. But all EFREN Reyes is concerned is making a ball off the break.
Yeah, and a change of tactic. It's gone for a very soft break off and really not coming anywhere near making a ball.
13 ball, corner.
Electing stripes.
So Reyes, even though he may have thought it was a good idea to try a different break, could cause very costly, and might be well advised to just keep that for the practice room next time. Saying that, not the best positional shot from Morris. He's okay. He can keep going with another stripe pot. But positional wise, it's not the easiest of clearances, it doesn't look.
Well ball, side pocket.
If that 11 wasn't there, he wouldn't have any problems really. He's just got the 12 in the side, and his last 2 stripes near the 8. However, that 11 is there. That's why we're seeing him take his time. A bit more thinking to do about this than normal. Has this gone wrong? No, he's okay. He's missed the 4. It's a good shot. Elected to try and get on that awkward 11 straight away. Played it very nicely. Now you should have no problems really. Just maybe a bit of draw on the cue ball. Bring the cue ball back, avoid those solids.
Well, again, just jumped on the shot. The technique, not good enough.
Well, it wasn't there for that, was it? You can see from the other angle his body was well up after the shot. There it is.
Reyes was guilty of exactly the same thing on the decisive 8 ball a couple of racks ago. Symptomatic of the pressure they're under, and that pressure in turn is created by the huge financial stakes and the prestige. They're both well aware. They said so in their pre-match comments that this is the biggest match they've ever been involved in, and they've been involved in thousands.
Well, he didn't get one off the break, but he's got a chance to make up for that. I'm pretty sure he's underhit that. Yeah, he's looking a bit mystified.
7 in the side.
Plenty of side on the cue ball, nicely done. He was okay in the end, but he's got to be careful with his clearance. got the 1 and the 6 close to one another in the centre of the table. Trying to get onto those now.
6 ball, corner pocket.
Side pocket.
6 on the side. Combination.
Well, he's called the 6 into the side. He must have spotted a combination from the 1 first. Indeed he has. Has he left the 1 on? Oh, I think he has. That could have gone wrong. He didn't fancy the long pot.
1 ball side.
Maybe the long pot would have been a better positionally. However, he's been okay, and not a bad break for EFREN.
And that was a better pot than it looked, because the near jaw of the middle pockets on these tables juts out.
Yes, he'll be very relieved. He's just about got away with his clearance by the looks of it.
Side pocket.
8 on the side.
Morris blunder, and EFREN Reyes capitalises. He's stubborn. He will not be shaken off. The Filipinos in the crowd getting excited.
Pocketed $350,000, and that was good stuff.
Yes, for the uninitiated, Hill-Hill means 7-7. It would be appropriate if it went Hill-Hill, because Reno, of course, in the shadow of the Sierra Nevada mountains, they're a little more than hills.
Well, he's all at sea with his break-off. He really is all at sea with the break. And also not a very good split. The players having problems with their breaks, but you still wouldn't expect the lack of the results we've had. But in a way it's fitting that a player, okay, we have got winner breaks in these rules, so it is nice that maybe we're not seeing somebody walk away with a match, Phil. It's kept tight. One of the reasons, yes, because they're not making a ball off the break.
As we mentioned earlier in the tournament, but if you're watching this event for the first time, I'll just repeat it. It is theoretically possible for a player to win the lag and run all 8 racks from his break, and consequently for his opponent not to have a single shot. It's unlikely, but
3 in the corner.
It is possible.
Oh, come on, baby. Woo.
One thing we haven't mentioned, we've talked about the $500,000 first prize. The runner-up is consoled with a cheque for $150,000.
Ball, corner pocket.
So a $350,000 differential.
Yes, and a stroke of fortune for Rodney Morris. Very nearly lost position on the 1 ball. He cannoned into the 6. In doing so, he's left the 6 available for the centre. And well, he's underhit that a little bit. Wanted the 8 straight into the corner.
8 in the corner.
Now he's got to cut it back. Certainly not how we would have wanted it.
Seesaw stuff. Morris letting out his frustrations, relieved to be back in the ascendancy. He won the first rack, he then moved 4-2 ahead, and now he's back in front for the 3rd time in the contest
Morris wins game 9
at 5-4.
games to 4.
There might be a little bit of perspiration there.
Well, I can't can't believe he's done it
Ball on
again.
the break, Mr. Reyes has ball
That's
in hand.
twice in this final. He's scratched into the centre.
Table is open.
And that really is another, well, it's just a basic error, really.
6 in the corner.
He felt that was the problem ball, so he's knocked it down.
Four ball, corner. Five ball, corner.
Going for the slightly more difficult, but still straightforward enough, really, for EFREN. Taking the 5 down the rail. And wants the cue ball to slow down. Indeed, it has. A very nice shot. I thought maybe he was going to roll it in. He tried a soft screw, controlled it perfectly.
2 in the side. One in the side.
Yes, and EFREN well known for using the angles. Didn't decide just to play a stun and then maybe a screw shot. He's wisely left a nice angle on the 3 so he can use the cushions, use some side, leave himself in the centre of the table, which most players are often trying to get in that position because they know they have another pot on, and normally with a nice angle. In this case, the 7 to leave an angle for the 8.
It would appear that the pendulum is about to swing again. Twice Rodney Morris has scratched on the break. Twice he's been fully punished. Once again, they're on level terms. 5-5. Morris and EFREN Reyes in the final of the World 8-Ball Pool Championship.
And he knows at some point he's going to have to break into those 2, whether he takes stripes or solids. So, well, solids it is then.
Four ball, corner.
Which goes into the centre,
Corner pocket.
the left centre, and that's very close to his blocked 5 ball. So he might have an opportunity then to leave an angle on the 3 to break it out.
2 in the corner. 2 ball.
Yeah, and he's decided not to play it because he knows he won't be able to get the 5 out of this visit, and he needs to leave the 3 there to enable him to do it at a later visit. So taking on the harder 2 ball. Pretty good shot. He's still going.
Yes, but it's getting more and more problematic. It's one of those where something special is required. 1 or maybe 2 golden shots to open things up.
Yeah, and he's just had a quick look at the 6 into the top corner, and that doesn't look a bad shot because
Corner pocket.
he should have the angle maybe to get into the 5 now. Well, it was a shot to go for. He broke the 5 out, but he didn't make the 6.
And it was missing a ball into that pocket. albeit a little more simple than that.
In the corner.
The only possible awkward ball be the 15 next to the 8. But he's immediately decided to get rid of the stripe that was blocking that. And clear these up, I'm sure.
10 on the side. $14 in the corner.
Looks like he's going to leave the 15 for his last ball.
9 ball.
Get rid of the 9 down the rail. Just needs to leave himself a nice angle from here to get onto his final stripe. That looks pretty good. As you can see, just a slight angle, that's all he needs.
12 on the side.
Rodney Morris has led this match on 3 separate occasions. EFREN Reyes, it would appear, about to do the same. Wanted to be a touch straighter on this, hence the sigh.
Well, a very clever shot. Slightly surprised he did leave the 15 to last, because just for that reason he could have got the right angle. But it was okay to cannon into the 8, leave himself the simplest of 8s.
He's indomitable, back in front at 6-5. Reyes, though, has a narrow advantage at 6-5. 2 more racks needed, and he'll be the champion.
Well, a bit more control then and a success. I just wonder now, Phil, if Rodney Morris is beginning to think about the 2 breaks he had where he scratched twice, and whether that could make a difference in this final. Reyes with a great chance to go just 1 away.
I wonder, Roxton, whether he received any advice there from his cornerman, gentleman by the name of Santos Sambajon, a Filipino who you can see in the picture there, now based in the United States and a very fine player in his own right.
Yes, and no doubt he would have done. Players are allowed to talk to their cornermen in between visits, in between racks. I'm sure he would have said, just make one off the break, EFREN. But not the best positional shot.
Three on the side.
He's played that nicely though, just gone through far enough to leave himself a shot on the 2 ball. So EFREN Reyes looking like he's just starting to take control of this match now.
7 in the side.
That It's not as bad a shot as you might think, because he's left himself a nice angle. As long as he makes the 5, should be looking good for the rack, just for 4 left afterwards.
Heart in mouth. Thought he'd missed it. He did grossly overcut the ball, but he just about found the pocket.
But yes, and also, Phil, has he left himself all queuing on this 4? I believe he has. And that's going to make it a lot harder for him to get onto the 8, because he can't just stun it in. He's got to bring the cue ball out.
4 ball, corner.
Not sure that the 8 does go into the bottom right. If it does, he's okay. He should be able to just roll it in.
And if you're bridging over an intervening ball and hitting down on the cue ball, the likelihood can be that you impart unwanted side spin.
He just made that again. Now, did he play for it in this pocket, Phil?
I think he wanted to hit the ball into the opposite corner of the pocket and come out and leave himself the 8 ball into the same bag.
So not a full pocket to go for them, but it does go. Well, it did go, and it was a good opportunity. The cue ball was very close to the 8, so really should have made that, but just wasn't to be. The 11 undoing him.
Far be it from me to second guess EFREN Reyes, but why didn't he just quietly run the 8 ball in, and therefore he would have had effectively a bigger pocket, because he could have played at a very slow pace towards the near jaw and taken any collision out of the equation.
I think maybe he was just going for pure accuracy. He knows that had it hit the first angle, there was less chance of it going in rather than hitting the far angle. So just a safety for Morris. I think he's just made the snooker.
Has he, though?
8 ball.
Well, he's called the 8 ball to the right-hand top pocket. The referee, Ken Schumann, saying, "Are you sure you've got enough room?"
Well, he's going to have to take a close look at this, Phil. He's going to be standing right over it. This is going to be close.
Wow.
Foul call. Reyes laughs. The referee deemed that he grazed the adjacent 15 ball before pocketing the 8 ball. And the referee proved correct.
Spot on, indeed, it was a foul. We'll see the slow motion again.
On the 8 ball. Lost the game, Mr. Morris.
That really was split-second stuff. The referee stuck his neck out. He didn't have the benefit of the action replay, so good decision by him. And of course, foul on the 8 ball means rack over. What a conclusion. 6 racks each. They both require 2 more to be the champion. This is their 29th match, and it's all coming down to just a handful of pots. And for the 3rd time, Roxton, unbelievably, Morris scratches from the break.
I just can't believe it. He wouldn't do that in a year's play. That's down this hall as well, practicing.
Disgusting.
A solitary in off, forgivable. 2, well, a little galling. 3, inexcusable.
14 in the corner.
Yes, of course, and whoever wins this rack will have the break effectively to win the title.
How will Reyes react to losing
13 in the corner.
the previous rack in such bizarre circumstances? isn't very often in this game that you actually pot the 8 ball, don't scratch, and still lose the rack in question. He's certainly got the experience to cope with that adversity. Has he got the composure?
12 in the corner.
Well, he's got his last 4 stripes down this end of the table, making positional play considerably easier and less pressurised for him.
10 ball, corner. $15 in the corner.
It's a nice angle to come out into the table. Has he hit it enough? He hasn't.
11 in the corner.
If he can't hold it, he's got to go around the angles, and that certainly could go wrong. Well, a pretty good shot. He had the angle to hold into one of Morris's solids, and that's given them the chance to go just one away from the title, Phil.
Not the most elegant of pots. He cued out it rather twitchily. But for the 4th time in this match, EFREN Reyes leads.
The tournament this week, he was the first through to tonight's final, so it'd be a disappointing way for him to go out. Still think there's a great chance it could go hill-hill.
Well, at the North American 8-ball Open in Las Vegas, the previous event, or the most recent event on the IPT Tour, the title was decided by a run-out from the break.
Well, a slightly fortunate ball off the break for Reyes. Not the most well-struck break-offs. As you can see, he did well to control the cue ball. Not the most powerful, but he gets a lovely cannon there, and it even has pocket side on it to take it into the pocket.
4 on the side. Six ball, corner.
And he may well decide to play the 6 off it. Be a good shot if he could. He'll open up the pocket for the 7. But not a shot he wants to be playing at this stage. Having a good look at it, I think he is eyeing up the 6 off the stripe. This shot reasonably straightforward with the cue ball right behind the 6, but as he's got that angle to it, makes it a lot harder for a player to see the angle and judge it just right. Especially playing it left-handed. What a shot.
They call him the magician. That was a rare old trick.
This was good to watch, left-handed as well. Perfect contact. 6 was always going to go in off it if he got the right contact on it. And he's getting scarily close to this title. Saying that, I think he's got the wrong angle on the 5. Bit of time over this. Rodney Morris will be hoping for something similar to what happened in the last rack, in order for Reyes to give him a chance to get back into this.
Three ball, two ball.
Using the angles as he does so well.
One ball, side pocket.
Getting ever closer.
Yeah, and he needs to leave an angle on his last solid, because the 8 only goes into the bottom right. So he has to leave himself a nice angle. Just having a look where he wants the cue ball.
Three ball, corner pocket.
He's changed his mind. He's going to pop the 3 and leave the angle on the 1 to go down for the 8. Has to be careful because he has to get the right angle on this. Has he gone far enough? Not sure he has.
So near, and yet so far. Sunny disposition, EFREN Reyes, always smiling. And even in this crucible of pressure, he sees the funny side.
One ball, side.
Yeah, I think he knows he was just gesturing that he maybe should have played to leave the 3 last. Had to play it with draw off 2 cushions, and that looks good. Is it going to stop? Well, it just did in time, and my goodness me.
And that seemed to actually stop in an indentation in the table that was made by the balls being placed there.
Yes, I mean, he played
the rack.
Yeah, absolutely. He didn't have enough check side on it to hold the cue ball. It drifted on, and yes, it seemed to be pulled up by something. And it's left him a really good opportunity. Well, well.
When he was a young lad in that pool hall in the Philippines, he could have never dreamed he would have an 8-ball for $500,000. But that isn't a dream. Here in Reno, Nevada, it's a reality.
Yeah!
It's there, EFREN Reyes, the world 8-ball open champion. What a finish. He was the king of the hill in Orlando, Florida, back in December. Now he's the king of Reno. You know, Roxton, at the age of 52, the overwhelming majority of sportsmen either bask in the glory of past achievements or wonder what might have been. Reyes just keeps rolling along. And in 3 IPT tournaments, he has collected $765,000, a king's ransom in any country. In the Philippines, nothing short of a fortune. And
Ladies and gentlemen, the IPT 8-ball champion of the world, EFREN Reyes. $500,000 and the trophy. Thank you, EFREN.
that is Kevin Trudeau, the founder of the IPT Tour, handing over the greenbacks.
A fantastic final, nearly went all the way. EFREN just about hung on.